Hey guys, Chef Joe Ciminera. Today we're going to get started on a simple dough recipe. Now, there's a couple of things I put in the dough that I really think add to it. And believe it or not, I add a half a cup of Coca-Cola, but you can use any type of soda that is sweet. It gives it a nice dark color in the dough, as well as give it some sweetness. Now, I am going to add a little bit of granulated sugar as well, but I always find that what's in the that kind of soda really brings a great color when it's cooked. If you're looking for that nice brown color, it helps with the texture, fluffens it up a bit, and gives it a really nice sweet taste. Now, I am putting in the usuals in there, right? We have the flour, we have the salt, and again, I don't know, it's just me, but I love to use kosher salt when I'm doing pizza. We're using some kind of olive oil. You can use pretty much any oil you want. Don't use a first cold-pressed olive oil, because what you're going to find out is the first cold-pressed olive oil is just so damn strong, and it's going to take this flavor to the next level, and in a bad level. Now, we got dry yeast. You can use fresh yeast if you wanted to. You know, you have the bricks of yeast, and you can, you carve off an ounce of wet yeast. However, the dry is just as good. I like to keep dry in the kitchen because honestly, I have frozen yeast in the freezer as well. Because I mean, let's face it, you leave that too long in the refrigerator, it's going to go bad at some point. I don't make that much dough, but when I do make it, I prefer the fresh yeast. But I'm not going to waste a whole block. What I like to do is just go to my local pizzeria and I'm like, hey Tony, can I get 2 ounces of yeast? Great, so they're usually pretty good. But keep some of this. This is always good for like a snow day, next quarantine pandemic. This is always good to have in the house. And then we got sugar, white sugar. Now, there's a difference. I found that granulated sugar is definitely the way to go with this. And then we have our, our 2 cups of water in here. Always warm, right? Because you're not going to be able to dissolve the yeast, the sugar, and everything else, but never hot, because I can kill the yeast as well. I mean, dough especially pizza dough is an art. I've been making sourdough breads where you take a piece of the pool that's, a week old, and then you just kind of start putting it into the starter. And I mean, you can really get crazy with this stuff. In fact, they sell really good sourdough starters online. Check out Ed Wood's sourdough starter. He's definitely got some of the best stuff out there. And then we're also going to add a little bit of coconut oil. Now, the coconut oil I use is from Swanson. Go on Swanson, you can Google them. They're a vitamin company, but they got flaxseed oil, coconut oil. They got a lot of good stuff. And what I found with that company is their brand is very, very consistent, which is good. So anything that has the Swanson brand on there, definitely take a look at it, because, look, I'm a stickler. Brands do change their recipes and everything else, and one thing I can't stand is making a recipe. I follow my recipe and something comes out wrong, and I'm like, well, did I not add anything? But no, it's the manufacturer. They change around what they do, with their stuff. So we're going to take all of this and we're going to go over to the Univex mixer that we got. Now, this thing is amazing. It does everything from whip it to paddle it to making dough, and we're going to use that arm hook to make the dough.
The Univex planetary mixer, model SRM20, it's the only planetary mixer completely made in the USA. Sizes range from 12 quart to 80 quarts. Utilizes a hybrid gear-driven transmission system. Switches speeds on the fly while the mixer is on, like many of these other competitors do not. Do not turn the mixer off and try to switch speeds. Mixer comes with a bowl scraper to help push the products down into the bowl.
And we got a good amount here to make that happen. We're going to go over to the machine. I'll show you what it looks like. Especially if you're in the food service industry, you'll find that this is another company that's real consistent with their stuff, and it lasts. We beat the heck out of this stuff here. We got chefs all day long cooking, using, and they never broke down. Even their slicing machine. Talk about delis and all these restaurants that hate to sharpen the slicer. Who really hates to sharpen the slicer? I do, right? And let's face it, if you know what you're doing, it comes with the sharpener sometimes. But there is a difference between a good blade. and a good blade has got that sharpness on it. So we're gonna take a walk over there. We're gonna put all this stuff in there. I'm using more yeast than usual in here. This is a 1/4 cup of yeast, and it's probably double the amount of what you need. But I find that if you're gonna work your dough a little bit and it really rises, and you're gonna knock it down again and let it rise again, knock it down again, what you're doing is you're making it airy and it's gonna come out really good. So I tend to add a little bit more yeast than usual. It's just me. So let's get started. Let's grab the bowl, put everything in there, and take it to the next step. So we got the bowl here. We're gonna add all the ingredients. First, what we're gonna do is add the yeast, the sugar, and the salt together. We're gonna mix that up in the water. So we're mixing this up really good. Then we're gonna take this and put it right in the bowl. And again, we're warm here, folks. We're not hot. We don't want to kill the yeast. With a 1/2 cup of soda, add the oil, and we're going to add the flour. And over here, we're using 2 pounds of flour. And when it comes free from the sides of the bowl, we know we're done. If we have to add a little bit more flour, we will. So now you have an incredible looking dough here. The color's good, the texture's good, and I'm gonna swing you around and show you. What we're gonna do is roll it out into little balls. I would probably split, I'd say 3 8-ounce pieces here out of this batch. But that's what you're looking for. You know, you're able to kind of slap it and nothing goes on the hand. And we're gonna let this, this baby rise and do its thing. So let's start molding it. So again, we'll take the other dough here, and you're going to basically squeeze, pinch the top, you're done. All right, on to the next level. Let this rise, let the yeast do its thing. We'll refrigerate it, and we're going to be making pizzas.